The road was almost empty that night. A thin silver line stretched between the dark hills, shining under the stars, like someone had poured quiet light over the asphalt. There were no loud cars, no crowded streets, no city noise. Just the hum of a motorcycle, the whisper of wind, and the steady glow of one headlight moving through the night. Mara Hale loved roads like that, not because they were lonely, but because they were honest. A road never pretended to be anything else. It did not promise comfort. It did not explain where it had been. It simply waited. And if someone was brave enough, tired enough, or hopeful enough, they followed it. Mara had been riding for nearly 6 hours. She was 42, calm-eyed, and strong in the quiet way some people become strong after life has tested them more than once. She wore a worn brown leather jacket, black gloves, and a silver ring on a chain around her neck. Her motorcycle was old, but she kept it cleaner than most people kept their cars. She always said, "A machine that carried you home deserved respect." That night, she was returning from a small charity ride 3 towns over. It had been a simple event. A few riders gathered outside a community center, helped raise money for school supplies, ate sandwiches from paper plates, and listened to a local teacher speak about students who needed support. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. Just ordinary people doing one good thing at a time. Mara liked that kind of goodness best. The kind nobody filmed. The kind nobody applauded. The kind that still mattered. By midnight, most of the riders had already gone home. Mara had stayed behind to help fold tables and carry boxes into the storage room. That was typical of her. She was never the first to speak, never the loudest in a group, but somehow she was always the last one making sure the lights were turned off and no one had been left alone. Her friend Louise had teased her before she left. "You know, Mara, one day you're going to have to let someone else be responsible." Mara had smiled, pulling on her gloves. "I'll try that when the world stops needing responsible people." Louise had rolled her eyes. "That means never." Mara had only laughed and started her engine. Now, nearly an hour later, the town lights were far behind her. The road ahead curved through open land, past dark fields and low mountains. Her headlight swept over reflective road markers one by one, each appearing for a moment and disappearing behind her. She was thinking about home, about the kettle she would put on, about the small lamp by her window, about the book she had been reading for 3 weeks and still had not finished. Then she saw something ahead. At first, it looked like a small shadow moving near the shoulder of the road. Mara eased off the throttle. The motorcycle slowed. The shadow moved again. It was not an animal. It was not a sign. It was not a bag caught in the wind. It was a boy. He was walking carefully along the side of the road, keeping just beyond the white line. He had a blue backpack over one shoulder and a gray hoodie pulled up around his face. He was not running. He was not waving. He was just walking, slowly and steadily, like he had decided that if he kept going, eventually the road would give him an answer. Mara's chest tightened, not from fear, from instinct. She looked ahead and behind. No cars, no houses close by, no gas station lights, no diner sign, just the road, the mountains, and a 12-year-old boy walking alone under a sky full of stars. Mara pulled over far ahead of him, giving him plenty of space. She turned off the engine, lowered the kickstand, and removed her helmet slowly so she would not startle him. The sudden quiet felt enormous. The boy stopped several yards away. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Mara kept her hands visible and her voice gentle. "Hey there," she said. "My name's Mara. Are you okay?" The boy looked at her motorcycle, then at her face. His cheeks were red from the cold. His hair stuck out from beneath the hood. He was trying to look brave, but his fingers were gripping the strap of his backpack too tightly. He did not answer right away. Mara stayed where she was. "I'm not going to come closer unless you say it's okay," she said. "You're safe to stand right there." The boy blinked. That seemed to matter to him. Finally, he asked in a small voice, "Are you one of the roadside angels?" Mara stared at him. She had heard a lot of things on dark roads. She had heard engines breaking down. She had heard people laughing outside diners at 2 in the morning. She had heard strangers tell stories they would never tell in daylight. But she had never heard that. "One of the what?" she asked softly. "The roadside angels," he repeated. "My mom says they're people who show up when somebody doesn't know what to do." Mara felt something quiet move through her heart. She looked at the boy, at the backpack, at the empty road behind him. "Well," she said, "I don't know if I'm an angel, but I can definitely help you figure out what to do next." The boy looked down at his shoes. "My name is Ethan," he said. "Nice to meet you, Ethan. I'm 12. "Okay. I didn't mean to walk this far." "I believe you." That made him look up. Mara had learned a long time ago that sometimes the most powerful sentence in the world was not advice. It was not a question. It was simply, "I believe you." Ethan swallowed. "My phone died," he said. "And I thought the motel was closer." Mara nodded slowly. "There's a motel around here?" "Sun Valley Lodge," he said. Mara knew it. A small place off the old highway, near a family diner and a gas station with faded red pumps. It was not far by car, but on foot, at night, for a child, it would feel much farther. "That's behind you," Mara said carefully. "A few miles back." Ethan's face fell. "I knew it." "You were trying to get back there?" He nodded. "My dad and I stopped at the diner. He was talking on the phone outside, and I went to look at the old postcards by the door. Then I thought he had gone back to the motel because his truck wasn't in the same spot." Mara listened without interrupting. "So I started walking," Ethan continued. "I thought I'd see the sign, but then the road split, and I picked the wrong way. I didn't want to keep walking, but I didn't know if turning around was worse." Mara glanced toward the road behind him. A simple mistake. A tired kid. A dark road. A dead phone. A father likely searching nearby already. No villains. No dramatic secret. Just one wrong turn and a boy trying very hard not to panic. That was often how difficult nights began. Not with bad people. With confusion. Mara reached slowly into her jacket pocket and pulled out her phone. "Okay," she said. "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay right here in a safe spot away from the road. I'll call the local non-emergency line and let them know you're okay. Then we'll get you connected with your dad." Ethan looked embarrassed. "Am I in trouble?" "No," Mara said. "You're getting help. That's different." He pressed his lips together. "My dad gets worried." "That means he loves you." "He's been worried a lot lately." Mara heard the change in his voice. It was small, but she caught it. She did not push. Instead, she pointed to a flat patch of gravel several feet from the road. "Why don't you stand over there? It's farther from traffic." "There's no traffic." "There might be," Mara said, "and I'm very boring about safety." For the first time, Ethan almost smiled. "Like my mom." "Then your mom sounds smart." "She is." Mara dialed the local number. While she waited, she kept Ethan in view and spoke calmly, giving the operator the road name, nearest mile marker, and Ethan's first name. She explained that he was safe, that he had been trying to return to Sun Valley Lodge, and that she would stay with him until an officer or family member arrived. Ethan watched her closely, as if he was studying whether adults could actually make things better. When Mara ended the call, she said, "They're sending someone to check in. They may already have a call from your dad." Ethan nodded. Then his stomach growled. It was loud enough that both of them heard it. Mara raised an eyebrow. "Was that your backpack or you?" Ethan looked mortified. "Me." Mara smiled and walked slowly to the saddlebag on her motorcycle. "I have a granola bar. It's sealed. You don't have to take it if you don't want to." "What flavor?" "Chocolate chip." "That's acceptable. Glad it meets your standards." She tossed it gently, underhand, and he caught it. He opened it and ate in small bites, as if trying to prove he was not as hungry as he was. Mara leaned against her bike, keeping a respectful distance. The sky above them was motorcycles? Yeah, not big ones like yours, but she had one before I was born. There's a picture of her in a red jacket. She said the road made her feel like she could breathe. Mara nodded. I understand that. She can't ride now. Mara did not ask why. Ethan looked at the road. She's been tired for a while, he said. Not bad tired, just the kind where people tell her to rest all the time. Dad says she's getting better, but he still looks at his phone a lot. Mara's expression softened. That sounds hard. Ethan shrugged. But it was the kind of shrug kids use when a feeling is too big to hold properly. She told me about roadside angels because once her bike broke down when she was young. Some woman stopped and helped her. Mom said she never forgot it. Mara looked at her motorcycle. And tonight you thought maybe one might show up? I didn't think it like that, Ethan said quickly. Then quieter. Maybe a little. Mara smiled. Well, I'm glad I was on this road. Ethan finished the granola bar and folded the wrapper carefully. Are you part of a club? Not exactly. But you know other riders? Yes. Are they nice? Most are. Some are loud. Some tell the same story too many times. Ethan smiled more fully. My dad does that. Then he'd fit right in. A few minutes passed. Then headlights appeared far behind them. Ethan stiffened. Mara noticed immediately. That might be the officer, she said. Stay by me, okay? We'll wait and see. The vehicle slowed as it approached. It was a county patrol car, moving carefully with no urgency, just a quiet presence in the night. It pulled over behind Mara's motorcycle, lights dim, not flashing. A woman stepped out. She was in her 30s with tired eyes and a kind face. She kept her voice low. "Evening. I'm Officer Danielle Price." Mara gave a brief nod. "Mara Hale." The officer looked at Ethan. "And you must be Ethan." He nodded. Officer Price crouched slightly so she was not towering over him. "Your dad is very relieved we found you. He's at the diner with another officer right now. We're going to bring him here in just a few minutes, okay?" Ethan's eyes filled suddenly, though he blinked fast to hide it. "He's not mad?" Officer Price smiled gently. He sounded worried, not mad. Ethan turned his face away. Mara pretended not to notice. Officer Price asked a few simple questions. Ethan answered clearly. He explained the diner, the postcard rack, the truck, the wrong turn, the dead phone. Nobody scolded him. Nobody made the moment bigger than it needed to be. Mara respected that. Sometimes adults thought helping meant talking too much. But sometimes helping meant keeping a child from feeling smaller than he already felt. Within 10 minutes, another set of headlights appeared. This time, a dark pickup truck came slowly down the road and pulled in behind the patrol car. A man stepped out before the engine had fully gone quiet. He was tall, wearing a navy jacket over a wrinkled shirt. His hair was messy, and his face looked like it had aged several years in one evening. He saw Ethan and stopped for half a second, as if his heart needed time to believe his eyes. Then he walked quickly toward him. Ethan ran, not far, just enough. His father dropped to one knee and wrapped him in his arms. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. Mara looked away, giving them privacy. The stars above the road seemed brighter now. When Ethan's father finally spoke, his voice was rough. "I looked everywhere, buddy. I thought you left. I would never leave you. I know. I thought the truck was gone. It was around the side. I moved it because someone needed space by the entrance. I'm sorry." "I'm sorry too, I should have told you." Mara heard that and quietly approved. Good fathers knew when to say sorry. After a while, Ethan's dad stood and came over to her. "I'm Daniel Brooks," he said. "I don't know how to thank you." Mara shook his hand. "You don't have to. He did the smart thing. He stayed near the road and accepted help." Daniel looked at Ethan, then back at Mara. "I turned around for 2 minutes." Mara nodded. 2 minutes can become a whole story. His face tightened with guilt. Mara lowered her voice. Officer Price handled the rest calmly. She confirmed information, made sure everyone was safe, and suggested Daniel drive slowly back to the motel. She also reminded Ethan that if he was ever unsure again, going into the nearest open business and asking an employee for help was better than trying to walk alone. Ethan nodded seriously. "I know now." Mara added, "And charging your phone before leaving the motel." Ethan looked at her. "That too." Daniel almost smiled. Before they left, Ethan walked back to Mara. He held out the empty granola wrapper. "I didn't want to litter." Mara took it. "Good man." He hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think my mom will be mad? Mara considered her answer. I think your mom will hug you first. He nodded, thinking about that. Then he said, Can I tell her I found one? One what? A roadside angel. Mara looked down at him. The easy answer would have been to joke, to say no, I'm just a rider, just a woman on a motorcycle, just someone passing by, but sometimes children gave names to things adults had forgotten how to honor. So Mara smiled softly. You can tell her someone stopped. Ethan studied her face. That's not the same. No, Mara said. Maybe it isn't. Then he surprised her by hugging her quickly around the waist. It lasted only a second. Then he stepped back, embarrassed by his own gratitude. Thank you, he said. You're welcome, Ethan. Daniel thanked her again. Officer Price did too. Then the small group began to separate. The patrol car turned around first. Daniel opened the passenger door of the pickup, and Ethan climbed inside. But before the door closed, Ethan leaned out. Hey, Mara? She looked over. Yeah? My mom says roads remember kind people. Mara felt the words land somewhere deep. Then let's give this road something good to remember, she said. Ethan smiled. The door closed. The pickup drove away, slowly, carefully, until its taillights became two red dots in the distance, and then disappeared around the bend. Mara stood beside her motorcycle for a while. She should have left immediately. It was late. She was tired. Home was still nearly 40 minutes away. But she stayed. There are moments after something important happens when the world feels too quiet to enter again too quickly. Mara had learned not to rush those moments. She looked at the empty road. A few minutes earlier, it had held a worried boy, a searching father, a kind officer, and a story that could have gone wrong simply because of confusion and distance. Now it was just a road again, but not exactly. Ethan was right. Roads remembered. Maybe not in the way people did. Maybe not with names or dates. But roads held traces. The echo of tires. The warmth of headlights. The places where strangers stopped instead of passing by. Mara put the granola wrapper into her saddlebag. Then she started her bike. The engine rumbled softly at first, then settled into its steady rhythm. As she pulled back onto the highway, she thought of Ethan's mother in the motel room, waiting to see her son walk through the door. She thought of Daniel, who would probably check the passenger seat every 30 seconds on the drive back. She thought of Officer Price, who would finish her shift and maybe never mention the call again. And she thought of the phrase, roadside angels. Mara was not sure she believed in angels the way some people did. But she believed in showing up. She believed in slowing down when something did not look right. She believed in keeping your voice gentle when someone was already scared. She believed in practical kindness, charged phones, warm jackets, safe distances, non-emergency numbers, granola bars and saddlebags, small things, human things, the kind of things that did not look heroic from far away, but changed the shape of a night for someone. The road curved ahead, dark and shining. Mara leaned into it. The mountains opened like a gate. By the time she reached the old bridge outside town, the eastern edge of the sky had begun to soften. Not sunrise yet, but the first hint that night was not forever. Her phone buzzed once in her jacket pocket. She waited until she reached a gas station with lights on and pulled in. She removed her gloves and checked the message. It was from Officer Price. "Ethan is back with his family. His mom asked me to tell you thank you. She said, the road remembered." Mara read it twice. She did not cry. Mara was not the kind of woman who cried easily. But she stood there for a moment with one hand over the silver ring on her chest, feeling the quiet weight of the night settle into something gentle. A truck driver walked past carrying coffee and gave her motorcycle an appreciative nod. "Long ride?" he asked. Mara looked at the road. "Long enough," she said. "You headed home?" She smiled. "Yeah." But as she put her helmet back on, she knew home was not just the place at the end of the road. Sometimes home was the feeling that came after you had done the right thing. Sometimes home was a boy safe in a warm truck, a mother hearing footsteps outside her room, a father breathing again, a quiet officer finishing a good call, a road with one more kind story written into its dark. Mara started the engine. The headlight came alive, and once more the old motorcycle rolled forward into the night, carrying a woman who had never asked to be called an angel, but who, when the road needed her, had stopped anyway.